Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your March 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find all sorts of goodies to explore, including a timestamp to jump to the start of the reading. Please do remember that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Let's jump right in and see what's going on for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about Sagittarius's theme for March 2023, please. Tell us about the theme, okay? Tell us, please, about a truth for Sag this month. What is a truth for Sagittarius this month? Ooh, good Lord, that's a lot. Let's try that again. Nice clear message, please. What is a truth? Thank you. Okay. What is a lie that Sag needs to be made aware of? What? Yep. Okay. And a lesson or a blessing. Thank you. That's interesting. I saw that card while I was shuffling, so not really surprised. Tell us more about the theme for Sag this month, please. Okay, thank you. Tell us more about a truth. Thank you. More about a lie. That one, okay. And more about a lesson or blessing for Sag this month. More about a lesson or blessing, please. Okay, thank you. Right, let's jump in. So for your theme, we do have the bee. That's interesting because I also saw this card. Actually, it was the card you have in this position of the lesson and blessing, and this card that I saw while I was shuffling for you. So that's really, really interesting. But with this bee energy here, okay, so for some of you, I feel like, how do I word this, please? For some of you, I feel that you may have been putting in a lot of work, like towards your actual job for some of you, and for others of you, maybe into your own healing or your own growth or expansion, right? Which could also entail putting work into your job. And I feel like this is, for some of you, an acknowledgement of that. Okay, so I feel like your theme could be that you're finding yourself either reaping the rewards of the work that you've put in, or realizing that you've been putting in an awful lot of work and not getting enough rest. Okay, so for some of you, it could be one of those two things, or maybe even both. For others of you, I feel like, and it's really interesting because I actually am being brought back and reminded of a post that I saw on socials recently, which was talking about how the bee, aerodynamically speaking, should not be able to fly. And the beautiful thing about it is that the bee doesn't know that, right? The bee doesn't know that it isn't supposed to be able to fly. And so I feel like this is relating to you, Sag, in a way that you don't realize that you're capable of so much more than what you're already doing. It's interesting because it's not coming through in the sense of like you're flying, but you don't know that you shouldn't be. It's coming through more the opposite. Like you should be flying, but you don't think you can. Okay? So it's really interesting to me. I am going to read from the book for you just to give a little bit of an extra layer here, but do keep that in mind because that's all coming through purely intuitive, or via my intuition. Okay, but let me just pull up here I actually almost opened up to it exactly. So it says here, The bee is earnest, hardworking, and democratic. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures, aware of many subtleties at once. Since they're artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities until they're too tired from all the work. Then they gripe and sting. When in balance, content, active, vibrant. When out of balance, overworked, annoyed, to bring into balance, mini vacation. So I do feel this fear energy coming through. I'm not sure what that's what that's about. Let me just get back to this page real quick. There we go. I feel like for some of you with your theme for this month with the bee here, right? Again, how do I word this? I feel like you don't realize how magical you are. That's really what I want to say. I don't think you realize how magical you are. I don't think you realize how valuable you really are. I don't think you realize how I don't even know what the word is. Like I don't feel like you see yourself, Sag. Like that's really the energy I'm getting, right? Because I was getting this energy as well of I feel like you don't realize that you can fly, right? So, which is really odd to me. Maybe this has been kind of like an energy that you found yourself maybe stuck in or something, like you've gotten to a rut perhaps and you're like spiraling, okay? I don't know if you can see that there, but there's all of these, circles here. And I feel like for some of you, you may have gotten stuck in this rut, as it were, and have forgotten that you can fly or have forgot how to fly because you've allowed maybe negative thought patterns or wounding or trauma or programming or something to tell you that you can't, right? Or maybe you've had some things happen in your experience that got you down. And now you're just kind of laying there. You're like, oh, well, shit, somebody clipped my wings, so I'm just going to lay here now. And it's like, no, B, get up, right? Like, come on, let's go. Yes. Oh, yes, this is so beautiful because this is exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, I love it when this happens. So you do have with the B here, I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. Now I want to say, Sag, I only have about 3 more signs to do before I'm finished with March, and there have been several signs that have gotten this I remember card, right? Because I feel like we are being asked to come back to ourselves, to remember what we're truly doing here, what it is that we planned before we incarnated that we have to fulfill, right? Especially before we move into Aries season in the 3rd week of March, or excuse me, the 20th it is anyways. I feel like, we're all being asked to come back to that and to step more fully into what we're doing here, our purpose. So I do want to grab for you the book here because I want to read what the artist's interpretation is of the fated life and the destiny life so that you can have a better understanding of what that means for you in relation to your experience. So just give me a sec. Okay, so it says here, I'm just going to read this little paragraph for you. So it says, we live in a world of free, okay, no, I'm just going to read it all. I feel like you need it. For whatever reason, I wasn't going to do that, but I feel like you need it, Sag. Or maybe it just needs to not come from my mouth or something. I don't know why, but I feel like you need to hear this. So it says, there was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you're living right now. When you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life, We live in a world of free will, and therefore these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life, to trust the path your soul is calling you toward, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at a crossroads, at a moment when you're being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you, or to choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a change of career, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You're being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that's undefined, it's normal for doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater plan. Every hero in his or her life journey comes eye to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It's all part of the larger plan. What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? Right? So like I was saying, I feel like some of you've kind of gotten caught up in this very physical reality, this earthly reality, right? And have allowed it to weigh you down, right? And I feel like your theme this month, Sag, is remembering that there's more to life than whatever that is. There's more to life than whatever has you weighed down. There's more to life than whatever has you thinking you can't fly, or, are unable to move past whatever this thing is. Okay, and it can be many, many things. It can be trauma, wounding, programming. It could be maybe the end of a relationship, a career, the end of a living situation, right? It could be a lot of different things, right? Insert whatever into the blank. So a truth for you this month, you do have the frog here. Okay, so what's really interesting to me about this, and you take it, right? Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. It's your story. It's not going to bother me either way. The first thing that I notice here is the green with both the frog and the bee, which would indicate to me that there's some healing that needs to take place. The other thing that I'm being drawn to is the fact that there's this water here, or the rain, if you like, dripping down toward the frog, which I feel is this need to, how do I word this? Essentially like water your garden, right? I feel to bring nourishment to what it is you want, what it is you desire, whatever your truth is, right? So for example, if it's like my truth is this career, okay, nourish that, right? Because it feels to me like you're thirsty for something different. Actually, like I've been getting, it's weird because I've been going back and forth, and just since I've been in your reading, with like salivating like a lot and then dry, like my mouth being dry, and then salivating a lot and my mouth being dry. And that was not occurring in the reading that I just finished, like moments before coming into this one. So that would tell me that I feel like maybe you're not sure what it is that's going to fulfill you. Maybe you've been kind of searching for that, right? And there's the need to kind of put more focus on discovering whatever that is and nourishing it, or giving it more of your attention. I'm also being drawn to the fact that the frog, right, moves between land and water, right? Earth and water. And I feel like there's something here about maybe a change of location, or something like that being brought forward. Let me see. What are the key words here for the frog? I'm just curious. I haven't actually used this deck in quite a while, and yours is the first so far that I've gotten this card in. So just bear with me a moment here. Okay, yeah, so we do have healing as one of the keywords, which is not surprising, but I'll read this to you, right? And remember, this is a truth for you, Sag. The frog is clearing, cleansing, and healing. The frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked, which is interesting because you have that bee energy bringing about a similar type of vibe, right? Yes, frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished. Isn't that interesting? Because I totally was picking up on that need for nourishment. It's so vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. When in balance, clear energy and enthusiasm for life, yes. When out of balance, depleted, running on empty, to bring into balance, lake, river, ocean, or bathhouse. So it's really fascinating to me because we got that overworked energy or possibility of that with the bee as well. Or being weighed down, right? I did use that expression. And then here with I remember there's like this pool of water, right? Right here in the middle of the card or at the base of the card, right? Um, and now we have this frog energy showing up, which in the section of a truth, again, letting go of the things that are weighing you down, right? And nourishing what feels good to you, the things that you need, right? To bring that enthusiasm into your life. So yeah, I definitely feel like for some, there's some healing taking place around that, perhaps even moving from one space to another in order to do that, in order to clear things, in order to cleanse things, in order to like start anew. You have with it here devotion, potency, and make your life a moving prayer with the cosmic heart. So what's really fascinating to me, I honestly would not have expected this card to show up here, but I feel the reason that it's here is because there's a need for you to connect with your heart, with what, again, right? Like what brings that enthusiasm for life. So it says, make your life a moving prayer. Like what is going to make you feel alive? What is going to make you feel like your life is like a prayer that's been answered, right? Be devoted to what is good, or rather what feels good for you, what nourishes your heart, what nourishes your spirit, what ignites life within you, what is going to make you feel like you're flying, right? And I feel like whatever that is in alignment with your destiny, life, or your soul's plan, right? It's that thing that makes that heart space come alive, that really makes it feel a glow, or again, like kind of vibrant. But I do feel like there's some healing that needs to happen because, again, for whatever reason, I really do feel like there's been this like neglect of self, or neglect of one's own desires, or yeah, like I don't know, it just kind of feels like life being sucked out of you, right? And I'm not sure what it is that's creating that for you, but I feel like whatever that is needs to be addressed. And then it's like release that, forgive, cleanse yourself of that thing, and move forward, and then fill yourself back up with the things that bring that enthusiasm and that life force back to the forefront of your experience. Let's take a look at a lie for you, Sag. You have the gazelle here. And what's interesting about the gazelle is that the gazelle can be very like gossipy. It can be very um actually I'm kind of seeing it as, it's this prey that's on the, I don't know, like the savannah, wherever it's at, and it's always like on its toes, you know what I'm saying, like looking for predator, like, you know it's got those big ears to be able to hear a predator approaching, right, or to help it to be able to survive. And I feel like there's something here. I don't know if you feel like everybody's out to get you, or if there are a lot of people out to get you, or people in your experience who are out to get you, right? Maybe that's what's weighed you down. Maybe you felt like attacked by others, or what they may perceive of you, or something. And oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's even more interesting. Okay, so I'm getting this message here. Some of you may be believing or have convinced yourself that you are wounded, right? That like you're wounded beyond repair. You're broken. You are, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no helping you, is how I'm seeing this. Because I actually got the word like wounded gazelle in my head. Like that those were the words that came in. And so I feel like some of you have created this lie, again, very much like the bee, right? Like you can't fly, you're just laying there. I think that this is what it is. Like you may have convinced yourself that there's no going back, like, or there's no way to remedy whatever's taken place, or to fix it, or to pick yourself back up off the ground, or whatever. Like you're wounded beyond repair, you're wounded beyond help, or wounded beyond forgiveness, or you've done something beyond forgiveness, or something like that, right? But it is a lie. It is something that you have convinced yourself is true. I can hear you. I can hear you. Some of you are triggered right now, and I get it, right? Like these readings have been very triggering for almost every single sign in some way, shape, or form. Some much more than others, I feel, but it is what it is. I feel like we're being given this information right now because God is asking us to basically deal with our shit, right? Like God is asking us to really step up, to face ourselves, and to heal and work through the things we need to, so that we can start off in this new zodiac year, if you will, with Aries season, in or on rather around the 20th, with kind of like our head on straight, right? So, if you've been telling yourself that, or if you resonate with that, like I'm beyond help, there's no helping me, there's no fixing it, there's no nothing, this is a lie that you've been telling yourself and you've been perpetuating in your experience. You also have, yeah, you have here to clarify star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. And what I'm really getting with this is this energy of, again, like, I feel like you've lost yourself. It's like these things that how do I word this, please? You've been telling yourself that you're wounded, and so like all of the really amazing, really incredible, really magnificent things about you have been kind of buried, if you will, underneath what you've been telling yourself, or what you've allowed others to let you, like, how do I word, it's like somebody may have told you you're broken or wounded, and you're just like, okay, fine, like you've accepted it, right? So I feel like with this star ancestors card here, it's like the lie is you've told yourself these things, and you've essentially buried all of these wonderful, amazing things about you underneath that lie, right? Underneath the I'm wounded, underneath the I'm beyond repair, I'm broken, there's no helping me, there's no saving me, there's no fixing, nothing, right? So I feel like you're being asked here to really face yourself and to look deeper, right? Rediscover the things that do make, like, how do I word this? Like, because like I shared at, more toward the beginning of your reading, like you are at, I feel like you've forgotten how incredible you actually are, right? And so I feel like if you look a little bit deeper and try to move past and heal whatever it is that's put you in this position, or that you've allowed to put you in this position, I feel like you will start to come out of that. Okay? So let's take a look at the lesson or blessing. You do have the octopus here. So I feel with this card showing up, how do I word? First of all, part of the lesson here, I feel, is boundaries. The octopus is all about boundaries, especially lacking boundaries. Like, it's one of the key words, and the only reason I know this is because it's come up quite a bit recently, both in my membership and in these readings. So with the octopus showing up, right, I feel like part of the lesson here is establishing these boundaries. There could be people in your experience who essentially you have allowed to get mixed up in your experience. How do I word this, please, Lord? Yes, you've given them more access to you than what they should have had. And so I feel like there could have been like maybe outside influences, right? So, for example, if a relationship fell apart for you, maybe there were outside influences, external things that were convincing you of something, right? Like they had their hands all up in your stuff where maybe they shouldn't have, where you maybe let them influence decisions or your beliefs or something, and then, you know, they were just all up in where they should not have been, right? Like I don't even know. It kind of feels to me like maybe there's outside things that were like making shit up or making assumptions or drawing their own conclusions and then like convinced you. Also, I feel like there could have been someone where you shared information with them because you were trying to get close to them, either on a friendship level, romantic level, even a familial level, whatever it is. And you shared things with them and they took that and then ran with it. And then I don't even know how to word it, like tainted it, flipped it around. I don't know, something. But it feels like I keep seeing it as these octopus tentacles like dipping in, right? Like just reaching in and like fucking with shit. Okay? So I feel like the lesson here is to establish boundaries. Like being close to someone does not necessarily mean that you allow them access to every facet of you or that you allow them to influence your experience. Right? I really feel like there's something here about creating boundaries and how boundaries are needed to keep people at arm's length, especially while you're healing, because you're in a very vulnerable state. And if you don't have a good support system, if you don't have people who are truly, truly, truly in your corner, some can take advantage of that and essentially come trucking through your experience with their muddy ass boots. And what I mean by that is their own wounding, their own trauma, their own shit, and project that onto you and create problems where there were none before. Okay? I want to share with you the keywords here for the octopus. I know that the boundaries or lack thereof is one of them. Let me just see here. Yeah, okay. So reaching, yearning, and lacking boundaries and direction. Okay. So, I feel like there's a need to really pay attention to this. And again, I feel like it's both a lesson and a blessing for you, because I feel like part of it shows you, right, like where you need to have the courage to establish healthy boundaries, but also showing you what happens when you don't have them, right? So, I feel like there could also be here a big need to take time to yourself, really to rediscover what is actually true about you and for you. Because again, I feel like somebody came in with their bullshit and just fuck shit up. I don't know what that means. That could be for somebody very specific, but it keeps coming through over and over again. Let's see what the clarifier is. Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. Yeah, I feel like this lesson is showing you like where you need to be, or rather, how do I word this? That it would be better for you, more helpful for you, um, if you're able to remain grounded in your own truth, right? So for example, like somebody comes in and tries to, come into your world again with their muddy boots. It's like, no, no, I don't need that. Right? Like, that is not true for me. I know my truth. Like, I don't know why you're coming in here trying to tell me all this shit. Right? That's how I'm seeing this. And I feel like if how do I word? If you were in tune with yourself, I feel like you would know that. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like it will be easy for you to see. So, somebody trying to come in and like mess everything up, I feel like you would be able to see that from a mile away if you're in tune with yourself. But I feel like whatever's taken place here, there's been some sort of maybe like a tower moment, things falling apart, right, in order to try to align you with better things or something. It's almost like somebody may have come in while you were already wounded or already going through some shit or already trying to figure some shit out, and again just like came in and just messed up even worse than it already was. And maybe again that's for somebody very specific, but I do feel like there's definitely something here about learning to establish boundaries and to maintain your own access and to not allow people to just come in and knock you off of your access, to knock you off of your truth, right? You also have here, you're not for everyone. Yeah, you're not. I mean, and that's just the truth of the matter. Like it does say here, embrace your weirdness, face your true north. But what's really standing out for me here, Sag, is you're not for everyone. Not everyone deserves access to you. And I think that's important for you to understand. And I think that's a big part of your lesson, because not everyone is going to appreciate the brilliant being that you are. Not everyone's going to appreciate what you have to offer or the magic of you, and not everyone should have access to that, right? For me, and this is just my own experience, right? It's like the only thing that has 24/7 access to me essentially is God, right? Like that's it. Nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm super super close with my kids, and like I have no problem sharing a lot of things with them, but even with them there are things that it's my stuff, right? My own individual stuff. So even then, right? Like I feel like the only entity, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, that should have access to you 24/7 is God or source, the universe. I don't care what you refer to it as. It doesn't really matter to me. But other than that, no, because you're not for everybody, because not everybody is going to appreciate you. Okay? So I feel like this is about you being very selective and understanding that you are special, right? You're not a fucking 7-Eleven. Oh, yeah, yeah. And you're learning about these karmic relationships, right? You're being shown who is for you, who is not for you, what's not for you as well. And I think you're learning through this, which is why we have karmic relationships here, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. This is happening for you, Sag. I know you're like, what? I don't like this is how can this possibly be something for me? Because it is showing you, Sag. It is showing you what you don't want, right? And it's important to know what we don't want and to experience what we don't want so we know for certain what we do want. Okay? And I feel like this is a big, big part of what is coming through for you. And it is both a lesson and a blessing, right? I feel like you have the opportunity here to grow tremendously this month, very much like every other sign. I think it's just the growth for everyone is exponential at this point. But it does feel to me like you have an opportunity here to also close some cycles, or karmic relationships, right? To really see like, okay, so and so who may have been in your life for X amount of years or whatever it is, like this person is definitely not for me. Or this relationship is definitely not for me. This partnership or family member or whatever just creates conflict in my experience, polarity in my experience, drama, gossip, whatever it is. And so I feel like you're learning that you're learning that not everybody should have access to you, and that also that we change over time, and that growth sometimes takes us away from people, family members, business partnerships, um, romantic relationships, friendships. It doesn't, like, the possibilities are many, right? um, but I feel you're learning about that, right? You're seeing, okay, with growth comes separation or disconnect, or yeah, like a death, if you will. And sometimes we have to grieve that, and that can be hard, but it is happening for you, in order for you to be able to grow. So it looks like it looks like it could be a really, really powerful month for you, but I don't feel like it's an easy month. Okay, I don't feel like these things are going to be easy to face. I don't feel like this is, I mean, healing is difficult regardless, right? It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. It doesn't, whatever we're healing, it comes with challenge. And, especially when we realize that we have kind of been a party to our own misery, or, we've sabotaged ourselves, or where we have allowed external forces to influence our experience, and, maybe to our detriment. So, again, be gentle with yourself this month, right? Understand that this is not easy, but also understand that you can do it, and it is in your best interest or your highest good to do these things, to establish boundaries, to realize who's for you, who's not, to pick yourself back up, right? And to nourish yourself, and to do what you feel is good for you, what feels good for you, what makes you feel alive. Okay? So thank you so much, Sag, for joining me for this reading. I truly do appreciate your attention, your time, your energy, and your company. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you. If there has been something that has resonated for you in this reading, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or smashing that subscribe button. It really does help the channel to grow, and I truly, truly do appreciate you so very much for that. Have a powerful month, a healing month. I pray that you find yourself. I pray that you rediscover the amazing, beautiful, glorious things about you, and understand that you have a reason for being here. You have purpose here. You have meaning here, and you are still here because of that. Take care of yourself. Peace be with you, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.